Hi, guy. Good night to you. So, tonight I'm gonna talk about the topic I've seen in the YouTube about Judas Iscariot. The question whether he will be safe or he will be in hell. So, my opinion or what I think is based on my wide reading of religious book. I also complete reading of the biography of the prophets. So a lot of experience from reading the biography, how the prophets live, and the message and the decision and what he prophet have been telling on many cases. So based on my wide reading, I'm gonna tell the answer whether Judas Iscariot will be in hell or he will be safe. Okay, let us start. Jesus, after he fasted for 40 days, he actually disappeared for 40 days and then come back and then said to his disciple, I am going to choose 12 disciples. It's not you choose to be 12 disciples, but I choose. So these 12 disciples were chosen by God for Jesus to tell the name of the selected name of 12 people to be his disciples. So his 12 disciples, if I can remember from my head, Peter, Andrew, John, James, Matthew, Thaddeus, who else? Philip, Barnabas, who else? So okay, it include Judas Iscariot, and there also another James, and there also another, because some of them have same name but the same people. One is James, one James is Jesus' brother, and Judas, the other. Okay, I don't know whether it's 12 already. Okay, that include Judas Iscariot. And what Jesus comment on Judas, he said, I have to choose one devil, meaning that when he say one devil, this person is, what do you call it, traitor, a traitor. He said God chose for him a traitor to be one of his disciple. Okay, so maybe he didn't tell Judas that he was a traitor. Maybe he just mentioned, he didn't say to Judas that he was a traitor, but he will say later on they will know, and of course later on they know who is the devil among the 12 disciples. So this Judas was known to leak secret, all what he was there listening to what the discussion between the disciples and Jesus, and then leak the information to Jesus' enemy. So something like that. That's the role of a traitor. So on the surface, many people discuss or wonder whether this Judas Iscariot will go to hell. Okay, then let's talk about more of what's happening. So Judas Iscariot was a traitor. So he helped the Roman soldiers when the Roman were about to arrest Jesus, so they have to search for him. So searching for Jesus was helped by Judas Iscariot. So Judas Iscariot led the Roman soldiers to look for Jesus. He knew where Jesus normally was, and he knew the secret room of the building where Jesus would hide. So when Roman soldiers came to the building, his disciples all dispersed, maybe going out of the room and ran away. But Jesus was the last to run away. He didn't run. Jesus didn't run away from the building, but his disciples were running away, maybe out of the buildings or running away to different room from Jesus. So this Judas led the Roman soldiers to look for Jesus, and he found Jesus whereabout, and then he started calling the Roman, shouting at them, come here, something like that. So the Roman soldiers just follow his voice calling from a distance. Then what happened at that time? Miracle of Jesus. The this Judas Iscariot was made to appear to look like Jesus. And at the time, Jesus already disappeared or escaped from the room. So Judas Iscariot that looked like Jesus in every aspect, the voice, the look, even the clothes he wear look like what Jesus normally wear. And then the Roman, of course, arrested him, and he denied that he was the Jesus that they were looking for. But his denial was not being listened to, and he was arrested. And because he looked exactly like Jesus in voice and look, so he was arrested and put on a cross, then put to death on the cross. He was paraded on the street of Jerusalem or Bethlehem, and he was paraded. He had to carry the cross and then put on the cross, then put to death. And on that very night, the Jesus' disciples went to bring down the body, then buried the body maybe near the place where he was put to death, but then they covered the ground, making it look like the earth had not been moved, where they put the surface original, plant back the grass, thing like that, if they were grass or the stone were there like original, so nobody were aware that somebody had buried someone there. So what happened was, of course, the body on the cross were being guarded by the soldiers, but they fell asleep. They didn't wake up, fell asleep, and until the next morning, when there was light already, they saw no body on the cross. So of course they suspected the disciples doing this. So the disciples were called upon to answer the interrogation, and they say they didn't know anything, but they say they have seen Jesus. They have seen Jesus departed to the heaven. That's all they were saying. So, and the Roman believed their story because Jesus was known to perform miracles, and Jesus' prayer would be answered by God. So it's easy for them to believe that the body that had disappeared because Jesus departed to heaven, but they had believed that the body that departed to heaven was the soul of Jesus, as he had died on the cross already. Maybe they have confirmed that the body on the cross was a dead body, and they believe that Jesus had died. Then the body that departed to heaven was only the resurrected body, but the disciples were told by Jesus that he was safe, and they know it was the full earthly body of Jesus departed to heaven. So all these were witnessed by 12 disciples: Lazarus, Jesus' wife, Mary Magdalene, and Jesus' mother, Mary, and another little girl named Martha, the sister of Lazarus. Okay, these are the people who had witnessed the departure of Jesus going to heaven. So going back to whether Judas Iscariot is safe or he will be put to hell because he was a traitor. So what I believe, God has chosen him to be the 12 disciples. So he many times were with Jesus and the disciple. Of course, he had believed what Jesus had been telling the disciple. The teaching of Jesus, he believed he is the person not worshipping Jesus as God. He knew Jesus only a prophet. Then he had not committed a big sin of worshipping idolatry. So he had not committed idolatry. And he mentioned word, God, God, why have you forsaken me? And so he mentioned God. So he remembered God, the time when he was tortured and put to death. Okay, so my answer whether he is safe, meaning going to paradise, yes, he is. That's my opinion, because God has chosen him to be one of the 12 disciples of Jesus, and he played a big role of being turned to appear like Jesus, and Jesus was able to escape from death. So he already got his punishment, being tortured, to carry the cross, and then the pain of dying, or being put with sword by the Roman soldiers. So this kind of thing is already thing that he deserved, but then he had his punishment already on earth, so he is likely to be saved in the next world, meaning going to paradise, because God has chosen him. So when God has chosen someone to be a disciple, so God must have loved him, and so he was one of the lucky one that was chosen. So for that reason, I say that Judas Iscariot, despite him being a traitor, his sin was forgiven and he was saved. Most important, he believed the teaching of Jesus, but he was just a traitor. But the most important is having faith with the teaching, with the main doctrine of worshiping God like how Jesus worshiped God and what he believed God is. That is most important, guy. Okay, thank you very much for being with me. I hope you can get something from what I say, but God knows better. So, thank you very much for being with me.